Hello, Soul Family. This is Lioness Light signing on for another healing message from my spirit guides. I wanted to start today with talking about the definition of perceive. So I Googled it, and perceive, according to the dictionary definition, says become aware or conscious of something, something's in parentheses, come to realize or understand. The number two definition is of perceive is interpret or look on someone or something in a particular way, regard as. So that is the Google definition of perceive. And then I wanted to look up interpret. So Google defines interpret as explain the meaning of, in parentheses, information, words, or actions. And the number two definition is, for interpret, is translate orally or into sign language the words of a person speaking a different language. And I want us to talk about one more definition, which is the word relate. So Google defines relate as to make or show a connection between. It also talks about feeling sympathy with, identify with. When they use the word sympathy, I wanted to say symphony, sympathy, I think they mean an understanding between people. So perceive, interpret, and relate. Perceive, become aware or conscious of. Interpret, explain the meaning of. Relate, make or show a connection between. So I think this is coming through because I feel that there's something going on in the collective on individual levels and on a grander scale. I no longer watch the news, but I feel that there's some things going on in the world that have a connection to those words or concepts, to perceive, to interpret, and to relate. Also during my meditation, I pulled some cards, and it ended up being the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck. I had an intention of also pulling tarot cards, but a lot of these oracle cards ended up coming out. So I wanted to start with the perception card. Perception is talked about in this manner. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. And so that is how that definition of perception, going back to Google, it's talking about become aware or conscious of something, come to realize or understand. So, in this play on definitions and language and words, I do think that concept of natural curiosity is something that we could all kind of hold on to and consider in our daily lives of how we perceive. So, even if we are speaking the same language, our perception of words and the meanings that we give them can be in flux for us within ourselves, from situation and circumstance to situation and circumstance. Then if we're engaging with another person, they may have their own interpretation in any given moment, in any given situation, in any given circumstance. And then going back to relating, the definition of relate, according to Google, make or show a connection between. So having a natural curiosity to interpret that relation between others, between ourselves, to make that connection. So the other cards that came out in the Oracle deck, the first one I want to highlight is compassion. And that was the first one that was actually pulled. Compassion, the frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. So compassion, to stand by others without judgment, to relate to others without judgment. To perceive with natural curiosity, without judgment. I'm coming back to words again for some reason. So, even if we're speaking the same language, for example, the word love. So what I've learned in my life as a student of love is there's so many different colors and so many different frequencies. And it's a spectrum. Love is a spectrum. And love changes within context, within circumstance, within situation. Love could have a different interpretation by the person you're talking about love with. Another word that came up for me was justice. Ooh. That seems like a heavy-weighted word, justice. Justice, ooh, that could be connected with the court system. Justice could be connected to God's love, divine love. Divine love that is given to all of us, flows within all of us, is always there. Divine love. That is the one constant that does not change. Karma, the word karma. That has been a hard concept for me on my spiritual journey, because I do feel there's a wide variety of perceptions and interpretations of what karma is. And karma could be so many different things in so many different situations. The next card that I pulled is the card Fertility. The frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. A grander expression of ourselves. Through positive frequencies, positive filters, positive belief systems, we can build and expand more love. Increase the variety of perceptions and interpretations of love. The next card I pulled is the Crown Chakra. The frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. Transmute negative energy into light. Perception, interpretation, building to relate. Gaia is the next card I pulled. The frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our Great Mother and to the universe that birthed us all. Infinitely connected, infinitely relating. Now this brings me to the observer effect. I've been getting lots of messages about the observer effect over the last week or so. So Google AI, the observer effect. Google AI says, refers to the phenomenon where the act of observing a situation or phenomenon inevitably alters a situation or phenomenon. This effect is particularly prominent in quantum mechanics, where the very act of measurement can change the state of a quantum system. It also exists in other fields, such as social science and information technology. The observer effect. Observing a situation inevitably alters it. So our perception of a situation, before we even interpret it, alters it. So our perception is as varied as each one of us are. And all of that we perceive, whether it's through our senses, whether it's through our light body, is filtered through our belief system, as within, so without. So that belief system is helping us to filter in that now moment what we interpret love, for example, interpret justice, interpret karma. The next card is the throat chakra. The frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. Self-expression, peace and balance. So the throat chakra, of course, is also talking about our communication. And we were talking about belief systems and how they filter everything and our perception. And how even words, when we're speaking the same language, shift in meaning based on the particular observer, the particular now moment, the particular circumstance, the particular situation. Those belief systems can have negative qualities and or positive qualities. Another form of communication is telepathy. I feel like telepathy happens more often than any of us perceive it to happen. But I only really know my personal experience. However, I do know that things like finishing other people's sentences before they speak it out loud happens to other people on this planet. And I do feel that is a form of telepathy. In that moment, when something like that happens, to me that speaks to two people perceiving, interpreting, and relating on the same frequency, at the same level, in that now moment. I wonder if we as a collective could develop telepathy more, deeper, without fear. If that would provide increasing amounts of aligned moments where our perception, interpretation, and relation are in alignment, and could bring through more of that divine love that was within each of us. During my meditation today, I had a strong energy surge from my heart chakra out to my palm chakras in both my hands. And to me, that is offering an extension of love from my soul and spirit. Offering that love energy. The last card I pulled was prosperity. The frequency of prosperity supports our feelings of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. In joy and celebration. Well-being. Being well. I also saw a pattern of the number 3, the number 5, and the number 7. So for me, the number 3 speaks of the divine feminine. The number 5 speaks of change. And the number 7 speaks of spiritual journey, spiritual path alignment. So perception, interpretation, and relating. Okay, that's all I have today. I love you all. Peace.